actions have consequences. Members of the jury, Your Honor, this case is about the defendant, Mr. Zelius' malicious actions that led to dire consequences. 2 deaths, Ms. Hopper and Mr. Dent. Mr. Zelius' actions showed 1. Recklessness of consequence, 2. Hardness of heart, and 3. Wickedness of disposition. This, members of the jury, constitutes third-degree murder according to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Mr. Zelius was the site manager on a building project, Project Z. August 31st, 2012, the remnants of Hurricane Isaac tore through the city, leaving heavy rain and high sustained winds. Mr. Zelius, well knowing the dangerous wind conditions and the fact that the panels were over the max weight capacity for the crane, true to his previous decision, ignored warnings and elected to go ahead and initiate the lifting of the panels. The weight of the panels and the force of the wind caused the crane to collapse, killing Ms. Hopper and Mr. Dent. Ms. Hopper saved the officer on site, and Mr. Dent, a squatter living on site. Mr. Zelius showed reckless of consequence because he worked very fast on site. He did safety sweeps to the bare minimum, sometimes even less. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the injury ratio on site was 15.7 for every 100 people, which is 3 times the national average. Mr. Zelius hardened his heart to Emerson Turkin's warnings when he told him that the wind conditions could make the lift unsafe. This shows his hardness of heart. And the fact that Mr. Zelius disregarded safety rules, disregarded Emerson Turkin, and disregarded the weather, all for profit reasons, shows his wickedness of disposition. Our first witness, Emerson Turkin, will testify to when Mr. Zelius took over as site manager. He extended work hours and overworked his workers, and as a direct result, injuries increased. Our second witness, London Packer, will testify to a letter he found in the trash stating that the very lift that killed Ms. Hopper and Mr. Dent wasn't even approved to be lifted. He will also testify to everything he witnessed on the day of the accident, as well as how he saw Mr. Zelius raise the green flag giving permission to the lift to proceed that killed Ms. Hopper and Mr. Dent. Mr. Zelius tries to get you to believe that he is actually a victim. In line 103 of his witness statement, he says, Grace's death was awful, but the squatter, he ruined everything. He destroyed that crane, that roof, Project Z, my vision, and the dreams of hundreds of families. Mr. Zelius doesn't even take responsibility for what he did. In line 79 of his statement, he says, I regret what happened, but do I regret taking charge that day and months before? No way. Mr. Zelius doesn't even regret overworking his workers and causing him to get hurt. The prosecution will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Zelius is guilty of third-degree murder. Thank you.